Oh, I know what I'm going to talk about. Thank you. I got a good one. Oh my God, I totally have a good one. Oh man, do I have a good one. Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to I'm growing a beard. Oh my God, I sound like Fat Albert. Welcome to Do It Like Danny. I'm going to tell a million stories, and maybe one will hit home, and you'll be like, wow, that happened to me. And it's not about me. Well, it is. You know, television is a very, very crazy beast. I learned so much at Tyra. This is real emotion. This is something that I experienced.
I want the world to see what I have always seen, and that is the love that you have for just being yourself.
I love this person who knows who he is, who can make people laugh.
I think the script I gave you was a little bit different, but I'll take that.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm drinking at work because it's my show. I drink on my show. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope that you had an amazing holiday. It was the colonizers killing Indians and raping their families day. And then we eat turkey. So yay for us. All the people in the world celebrated, not in the world, but they celebrated across the United States the day Thanksgiving. And lastly, we talked about things that we were potentially thankful for, and actually we are thankful for. And there's probably more things we'll probably add to that list today. But Louis, did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did. I had a really nice time with my mom's side. Since my parents are divorced, I got to travel from both sides. So this year I was like, I don't really want to drive, so I stay with my mom.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
I didn't get to see you guys. And you know, it's funny. The last 2 years I've gone to Thanksgiving, you've gotten sick.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Did I get COVID last year?
You got COVID last year and the year before.
I was getting COVID like with every single shot. Every single vaccine, I got COVID, either before or after.
Yep.
So now I don't even get vaccinated anymore. It's like, fuck, it's so stupid. I'm sorry. I hate if you're a vaccinator, good for you. But I am not anymore. I don't believe in that because I got it no matter what.
Yep.
And I didn't get RSV or PPV or whatever's going around right now. Yay, me. And everybody else around me got it. So maybe finally I'm immune to it. Who knows? Until the next round of viruses present themselves. But so you went to your mom's.
Yeah.
I went to my Aunt Susie's. And I stopped at my
Well, she's our aunt too. Don't
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Like she's just yours.
My Aunt Susie. I stopped at Auntie Kathy's. I didn't get to go to my cousin Gina. So Gina, I'm so sorry. I know that I was supposed to go over there, but let me tell you, it was okay. So here's how like my first few days started. So like it was a very, very busy week. So I started a new job. Everybody, yay! Well, I'll find out if I get the job in January, but. To give you a little bit of a rundown of what it is I am basically the eyes for a blind person. And why are you laughing?
It's just funny.
I know, right? I'm the eyes for this blind woman, and she's great. And I basically, explain everything to her now. Just a little backstory on her. She is a masseuse. I'm not saying her name yet because I haven't gotten the job, so I don't want to like start divulging. But she's great. She's a masseuse, so she still works, like for the most part, almost daily, Monday through Friday, doing her masseuse stuff. Now, apart from that, she's actually a mutual friend within a circle, and I got recommended because she has someone that currently helps her. But, it's just easier when you kind of know somebody.
Yeah.
So it was I started Monday morning, and it was busy. It was, taking her to get her nails done, but then, there's so many things that we take for granted. There's so many things when it comes to losing one of your senses that you just don't realize anymore. So I had to find myself like, I have to explain this and I have to explain that. And it's a lot. And it's not in a negative way a lot, but it's a lot in terms of you have to remember that you are in charge of somebody else.
Yeah.
So it was easy when I was in charge of, 500 people because I had a team to help me. In this instance, it's one person, and I have to constantly be on the lookout. Like, is she getting out the door? Okay, I got to take her in the car. Like, all right, okay, we're going to go this way. Okay, there's a step coming. Oh, we're going to go up the parking ramp. Like, all the things that we take for granted when we're walking. Like, we don't think about it. If you close your eyes and you began to walk from your car to your home, think of all the little obstacles that could potentially be in your way. You know, a pole or, you know, cement. There's all these different things that you could get, you know, crack your head on. And so, you know, it was kind of like a lot of like learning processes this week. So it was fun. I had a good time. I'll know if I get the job in probably soon. And then I'll start full time in January.
Oh, wow! Congratulations.
Yeah, we'll see if this works out. But it was really interesting because you know, I helped her cook mashed potatoes for Thanksgiving, and so again, you know, you don't think of these things.
Yeah.
And you know, here it was. Oh, you have to wash the potatoes, and she's like, "Oh, you wash the potatoes?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah." Like, you know, she's forgotten. You know, because she can't see anymore. She used to be able to see, and she's very young. She's not even in her 50s yet. She's like 47 or something. Yeah, so she's young. And she used to have sight, and because of what's going on, I don't know if it's a disease. I don't know what happened, but she would get sight and then she would not have sight. So she would go back and forth.
Like cataracts almost?
I don't know if it's cataracts because I feel like they've operated, but you know, she's been through quite a bit. And I think she's in the process also too of learning Braille. So it's fairly like, it's not.
So it's like kind of new, but not necessarily all
yeah, like she always knew that she would get to this point where she would no longer be able to see. You know, she still tries to holistically, like, you know, seek out other alternatives and options in an effort to try to get some of her sight back. Because for a while there, she explained it to me that, you know, she would lose her sight and then it would come back again for like 2 years and then she would lose it again. So it would kind of go in and out, in and out, in and out. And now finally it's kind of met its, what we believe maybe this is the end of, you know, her not being able to see, but we don't know. And then on top of that, she is a mutual friend of Dana's and Linda's.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so, because they all get massages from her. So that's how she kind of found out about me also too. I've also gotten massages from her too. And she's amazing. Like, she's this little tiny thing and it's shocking on how much power is in those hands, right?
Yeah. Does she listen to the show?
I don't know. I'm gonna try to get. I probably will get to listen to the show. I'll get you to listen to the show. I will. But so first day was Monday, starting off, right? So it's like new job. You're like, oh my god, I show up. I don't want to be late, so I didn't go out Sunday night. I was being a good boy. I was being a good boy all week because I had to be up early, and I don't want to be, you know, I want to be on time, and I want to make sure I'm in tip top shape because I'm the eyes of another person, right?
Your partying days are behind you now.
My partying days are behind me. Well, for last week they were. I can't be hungover and be like, okay. So I showed her house. She's this cute little dog named Charlie, and Charlie's a Chihuahua and barks a lot. But we took Charlie for a walk, and then we were able to map out the day. Yeah. So, like, again, taking things for granted, right? Every normal day things. So it was open the mail. So I had to open all the mail, and I said, okay, this is a bill, and you have to go over everything. And then there's medical things. There were coupons. There were all sorts of things in the mail, right? And so then we filed whatever we needed to file, and then we threw away whatever needed to be thrown away. But, like, again, it's just like, oh, my God, this is so crazy. Like, in a good way. Like, you don't really put too much thought into it when you go to the mail. When you think about it, imagine if you weren't able to see all of the things that would be required for you to be able to understand what is coming to you, because, you know, your envelopes don't have textures or, you know, like, there's no Braille on them for you to kind of figure it out, which maybe people should do that. I think bill companies should start sending things in Braille.
I'm surprised they don't.
Yeah, you know, actually, me too.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't also too.
I'm surprised it's not like a California law. I mean, there's a law for everything in this state. You would think that they would go after that. Yeah. And make it something.
So, you know, this was it was the Monday of the holiday week, which was, you know, colonizing, kill people, Turkey Day, which was Thursday. So this was Monday. Yeah. And so she had to go to Costco. Now, I was like, oh, great, let's go. So I'm like, we drive. And you've been to Costco, right?
Absolutely. I went that last week.
Okay, so you know how large those parking lots are, right? I've never in my life been to the Costco ever where every single parking spot was taken. Mm-hmm. And even like behind the Costco, like normally there's like, why would you go back there? Like homeless encampments are back there, right? And cardboard boxes, but there was nowhere to go. And we drove around for like a good probably 10 minutes trying to get a parking spot. And she goes, oh my God, well, I have the handicap placard. And I was like, girl, this is California. There was like a line for people waiting to park in the handicap spaces also too. Like people were in the lines waiting for spots to open so that people could get in. It was wild. So I was like, I don't think it's going to happen today. So we ended up leaving. It was crazy. It was so crazy. I was like, I couldn't imagine even being inside the Costco once you got in.
Which one did you go to?
I went to the one off of, is that Van Nuys? I went to one off of Van Nuys.
Oh, okay.
So, so my first day with her was, kind of light, if you will. Just learning the ins and outs. I learned, the places she lives in. I had to learn where things were, how to communicate with her, and just being comfortable, right? So that was a lot of fun. I had a great time there. And then my sister reached out to me, Cynthia, and said, can you make some quiche for Thanksgiving? And I was like, oh my God, that sounds perfect. I was going to make Rice Krispies, which I did. And I had planned on stopping at everybody's household, right?
Like you always do.
That was the plan. That was the original plan. Stop at Gina's, stop at Auntie Susie's, stop at Auntie Kathy's, go to my sister's house. Like, my other sister was out of town, and then my mom was out of town also, too. So it wasn't like, and my dad was, where was my dad? I think he's in Redondo with his wife's family. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like I could drive down there and go visit them. I'm welcome, but I just, there's a lot going on. I don't want people to be like, well, were you invited? No, it's like, it's relaxed. It's not that serious. Like, even if I'm not invited, I don't give a fuck. I will still show up.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So, I will say this though. If Helen and Bonnie, you listen to the show, I did miss you, Helen, and I did miss you, Bonnie, at Auntie Susie's. So I'll just throw that out there for a hot second. So I had promised my friend that we would go to the movies on Wednesday night. And the reason why is because a new movie came out, the prequel to The Hunger Games, right? I read the book. My cousin Angela had given me the book or lent it to me, which I still have. And I don't know if you ever saw it. Did you ever see Hunger Games?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I never read the books, but I saw it.
So it was good. It was really good. Obviously, the books are always better than the movies because they have more details.
Yeah.
Anywho, so put all these pins in there, right? We're very busy at this point. Well, Tuesday, we try to go to Costco again with the lady that I'm, being a caretaker for. And we went to the one in Burbank.
Okay.
So Burbank wasn't as bad. We were able to park in the very, very back behind
that was
the
still
Costco.
Pretty bad, though, I'm going to be honest.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like, it was I think the saving grace for that one was that their food court is on the outside. So there wasn't a lot of traffic inside.
Yeah.
People were getting pizza and hot dogs and those fucking logs of Caesar, whatever. I don't know, like.
It's a chicken bake.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
It's a chicken bake.
You're gonna
I go to Costco a lot.
You're going to die laughing. Those were Jurgen's favorites. Whenever I would go to Costco, he was like, can you get for me a chicken bake? And he would hork those down. And he loved the chicken bake. Those are his number one favorite things, I think, in all America.
I gotta try it.
Yeah.
I've never had one.
Please get me a chicken bake. And I'm like, what is a chicken bake? Until I had one day and I was like, oh God, it's a lot. It's a lot of food. It's
is it?
It's like chicken Caesar inside of it. It's like a chicken Caesar something mixture inside of like a dough, and it's
hot?
very thick and it's warm.
Oh, interesting.
And there's Parmesan and cheese, and it's tasty. But let me tell you, it's thick. It's in you. So, again, we were able to go inside. Now, This was the first outing that we had with me being the caretaker. This was the first outing. And so I had to be like, there's a lot of people in here. Okay, get behind me.
She doesn't hold on to your arm?
She does hold on to my arm, but if we're walking side by side, Costco and people with carts. Like, you have samples. Those people lose their minds over samples. It could be like chocolate-covered ants, and there's a line for chocolate-covered ants. And then, listen, these families, the ones from Glendale, bring their families into Burbank, and then they're there with the samples. They're feeding all their children.
Yes.
The children are going and they're getting all the samples. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, all right. Can you get out of my fucking way? I just need to get cheese. So I need to get eggs and cheese because it's Costco and it was cheaper. And then the lady that I was with, she had to get just fabric softener. So the funny part was, we walked into the Christmas aisle and I had to remember that I have to explain everything to her or describe, not explain. but describe everything. And I said, ooh, this is the holiday section. And I said, there are these beautiful poinsettias, and they are like, the leaves are like red velvet, this deep, dark red velvet, and the leaves are like hunter green. And she goes, oh my God, I want them. And I was like, okay. So like I go over and I choose, and I tell her the prices of all the different, because they were different sizes.
Yeah.
And then we put them in the basket. So then we're walking down the aisle, and I go, oh my God, there are these cute little mugs, and they're all individually wrapped mugs.
So you were selling her all these stuff.
Right, but not realizing it. Not realizing it. Like, I don't work for Costco. I don't get a kickback. There's no, like, I'm not sponsored. Like, and I go, there's the cutest little gingerbread house, and it has this little white ivory frosting over the outside of it. And they're all individually wrapped. And she goes, oh, I want them. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening here? So she goes, you just explained it so well. I want everything that you're telling me, right? So then the fun part was we went to get her fabric softener.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, can we open it and can we smell it? And I'm like, no, they're all sealed. So what I do, because I am very big on scents, like my nose is like my mother's.
Yeah.
It could smell everything. Like even when I do my Uber ride share, like I'm like, oh, this person's been sweating. Oh, this person has BO. Like you can smell those things, right? And maybe other people don't smell it, but I smell it. I smell everything. And so anyway, we're in the little area, and I grab the fabric softener, and this is what I do. So this wasn't a new trick. I squeeze it so that air puffs.
Oh, pumps it out, yeah.
into your nostrils.
Yep.
So I stood in front of her, and I was pumping each one, and she's like, oh my God, I love that you're like letting me smell the air there, right? So that was fun. We had actually a really good time in Costco. It was fun. It was a very eye-opening experience for being that many people, and it being for it being so congested. I kind of felt powerful in a way of like, excuse me, coming through. And then I was explaining things to her. I'm like, we're walking through people right now that have baskets and are on their phone. Like, I was like,
Shunning people, your favorite thing to do.
I was shunning people. I was like, like,
a new power unlocked
Yeah.
for Danny.
I go, be careful. I go, these people are not paying attention as they wait in line for samples. And we're like walking right.
So good.
It was so good. It was so good. I had so much fun. I had a blast. So then, we got our stuff, whatever, and we got to the car. We got out. We know that was done. And then I at least was partially. I only had eggs and cheese. I still need to get my pie crust. I still need to get like broccoli, bacon, all those other things, right? So this is Tuesday. Now Wednesday comes, and I'm busy, and I wanted to swim. So of course that's always important to me. So I went to the pool, and all my little pool friends were there, and everyone was saying hello, and like, happy colonizer day, and happy this, and happy murder day, and be careful, be safe, have turkey. So, we were having a good time. I was saying that I was thankful for all of them, and so then I had to go back to help her. I had like a split shift that day. I went back to help her. It ended up lasting a little bit later than I thought. Meanwhile, my other friend was like, hey, I want to go to the movies. And back, like I was saying before, I wanted to go see the Hunger Games movie. So he totally hung the carrot and said, let's go see the Hunger Games movie. And so I said, oh my God, that's great. Let's go Wednesday night. Yes. Now that was all set. So I get off of work with, being the caretaker. And then I was like, oh my God, I haven't gone to the market. And I said, well, I probably can go Thursday morning. And I was like, no.
So hold on. You said Thursday morning as in Thanksgiving morning.
Yeah.
You were going to go to the market Thanksgiving morning.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to clarify that. I wanted everybody to hear he thought he was going to go Thanksgiving morning.
Oh
Okay,
my God.
Continue.
I'm crazy. What is wrong with me? Like, now that I think about it, because you're verbalizing it, in my mind, it seemed absolutely sane. But wait till you hear the whole story, because you're like, I would have never made it to Thanksgiving, right?
No.
So, and listen, making quiche to me is easy, but there is an amount of preparation
it's
that
a
goes
process,
into it.
like anything.
You got to make sure like the broccoli is shocked so it stays green, and like there's all these like little things that like the details that I enjoy so that people really enjoy eating the food, right? And there's the frying of the bacon. So I tell my friend, well, let's pick the 10:30 showing, right? We'll go late. That way I'll have 20 minutes to go to the market. Well, there's a market right across the street from my house, right? I said, well, I'll just go to the market across the street. They were out of marshmallows. They were out of Rice Krispies. I think I bought butter. because that's all I could buy there.
Oh, you can buy that. Yep.
And I was like, what the hell? So I'm like, I'm going to go to Smart and Final. So I go to the Smart and Final, like in Reseda somewhere, off of Balboa.
Okay.
And, you know, now it's like, it's 9:30. I mean, we have a 10:30 movie, just so you know,
And
right?
where was that theater at? Because you're all the way in
North
Reseda.
Hollywood. Oh my God. In North Hollywood, yes.
Clear across
oh, yeah.
the valley.
And he was going to be at my house at 10. So I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. And it's going to be fine. So I go to Smart and Final. Okay.
I'm sorry. The way you think it just makes me laugh because you're always last minute. It's going to be fine. It never works out, but it always is in your mind.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I was so, I wasn't even stressed about it. I was just like, I got to do this, right? So I ran into Smart and Final. They closed at 10, by the way. So I get there like at 9:40. Okay. And they're like, we close in 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm just getting, you know, pie crust and whatever, right? So I grabbed, oh my God, I so have ADD or ADH or MTV or whatever, right? So I get into Smart and Final and I'm so nosy. I notice that there's a new checker and she's overly nice, right? Like, and because I'm in the vegetable section, I can hear her.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you have a great Thanksgiving. I'm going to be here tomorrow, just so you know. So if you forget anything, I accept leftovers. And I was like, oh my God. Okay, she's being super extra. Like, God bless her, but she was being super extra. And then, because I'm crazy in the head and I'm always being nosy and listening, she said it to almost every single guest. Like, it never deviated from that same, like, I accept leftovers. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So I was like already annoyed. I'm like, this bitch is crazy. So I'm in the vegetable section and I'm trying to get like the things I need because, you know, I was, you know, going to make quiche. I'm looking for broccoli and I'm like trying to get my stuff. And then I'm like, oh, I need heavy cream. So I go over and I get heavy cream, but they were out of heavy cream.
Okay.
So I was going to make 8 quiche to begin with, right? So I had to buy a big gallon thing of heavy cream, which, by the way, heavy cream is expensive.
Oh, yeah.
It was like $12, that whole thing. Anywho, so it worked out, right? There was no cream. So I'm like, now I'm on the hunt for marshmallows. So I'm like looking. And I'm like, oh my God, there's no marshmallows. But they had Rice Krispies. So I grabbed 2 boxes, big boxes of Rice Krispies. And so I'm almost done because I already have my cheese. I already have my eggs. I had the cream. I had the vegetables. And then I had to get bacon. So I go over and I get bacon. I get 4 pounds of bacon, right? So I throw them in my cart and I'm like, supermarket sweep. I'm like going around. I'm like a crazy person, you know, pushing my cart. And then I stop and I see there's a sale on Ken's dressing. Now, if those of you that come to my house and have seen me cook before, I don't know what it is. I love Ken's dressing. In fact, maybe we should reach out to them for sponsorship because I love almost all of the Ken's dressing. I use like my whole side of my refrigerator is Ken's 1000 Ranch honey mustard. It has to be Ken's. Okay.
That's so weird.
I don't deviate from Ken's ever. Okay.
Okay.
Well, Ken's was on sale. So I'm like,
Deviating from the plan already.
right? So I stopped and I was like, oh, I'll take 1,000. I'll take a ranch. I'll take a honey mustard because they were like $1.25 off, which is like, that's great, right? Like, oh, yeah. So I'm getting Ken's dressing. I'm like, okay, all right, good. So I go to the checkout and I'm like, oh God, the only one that's open is the lady with the accepts leftovers.
Yeah.
So I try to be nice. I really did. So I'm doing my stuff and I'm giving her and she's like, you want a bag? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take a bag. So I just need one. And she's like, you have a lot of stuff. I'm like, no, the Rice Krispies don't need it. I was like trying to manage it, right? And so I put my card in and I'm waiting and it's beeping and we're going. I'm like, I'm trying to put my stuff in. It's like, now it's like 9:50, which would, if I'd gotten the car at that moment, I would have been exactly home by 10 and just enough time to like put like the things away that need to go in the refrigerator, right?
Yeah.
But then I remember, I'm like, fuck, I didn't get marshmallows. I'm like, fuck, right? So I'm like, there's a line of people now. There was nobody in line earlier. And now there's a line of people and I'm like, I need marshmallows. So I take myself to the car and then I come back inside.
Oh, no.
But I also had forgotten pie crust. So I was like, oh my God, thank God I came back inside.
That was picking up Ken.
Right. That was the first thing that came out of my mouth when I walked in was pie crust. That's like, you can't make quiche without a pie crust, right? Well, you can make my own, but I would have been, it would take me way longer. So I go grab the pie crust, and then I'm looking for marshmallows still. And there's like 3 different places in Smart and Final where they could have had them because they do like displays and stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't see any. Oh my God. So I found one of the people that worked there. And of course I asked him, I said, do you work here? And so he said yes. And so I I said, I need marshmallows. And he looked at me. I go, I know you're looking at me. I know it's 10 o'clock, the day before Thanksgiving, and I get it. He goes, if it's in the truck, he goes, we won't unload it until 6 a.m.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, God, I'm going to have to come back. And then he goes, well, let's go look. So we're looking, and he ended up finding 4 bags of the miniature marshmallows. And I was like, I'll take them, right? So I grab them. I'm off. And thank good. Finally, at this time, the check-in counter wasn't as crazy. They opened up 3 other lanes, so it kind of went down. But then I ended up getting the same lady again, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God. She's like, oh, you're back so quickly? I'm like, yes, I just couldn't live without you. And so she was like looking at me like I was crazy. I'm like, I'm looking like you, like you're crazy, bitch. So I got my stuff, and she's like, do you need a bag? I'm like, nope, I already have one in the car. She goes, that's right, you were here earlier. Wow, I can't. And I was like, I don't have time for this conversation. Like, I just don't have time for this right now. Like, I gotta go. And so I text my friend John. I was like, John, I'm going to be like 5 minutes, like 10:05, I'll be there. So I throw my stuff in the back of the trunk, and I grab, I'm racing home like a maniac. I'm like, Cruella in the car, driving fast. And then I get home, I threw what I needed to throw, where I needed to throw. And then I'm like, fuck, I didn't get the tickets. So like as I'm walking to the car, I am buying the tickets, right? So it's the North Hollywood, it's the Regal. In my haste attempt to book the tickets, I booked us 4D tickets. Which in my mind, I was like, okay, whatever. So it's probably goggles or whatever, right? Not even like reading any of the disclaimers. I didn't read anything. I just selected 2 tickets, and I chose the seats and 4D, and I'm like, oh my God, hi, good to see you. So
okay, time out. Was this your first time with 4D?
Yes.
Because I've never experienced it.
Okay.
So this is going to be a great story.
Okay.
First time with 4D. And if you don't know what 4D is, please go ahead and look it up because it's pretty intense.
So, let me paint the picture. It was a breezy evening in North Hollywood as we exited and walked up the stairs to the Regal North Hollywood in the NoHo West, which I don't know, does that make sense? NoHo West? Anyways. I was excited to see the movie, and that's all I had in my head. Number one, I'd gotten all of my things done, or so I thought. And then I was able to see the movie that I've been wanting to see for such a long time in terms of reading the book and all of that. So we walk over, and they're cleaning the theater, and we got our popcorn and our snacks, and I, hidden some snacks in my pockets.
You're ready to go.
I was ready to go. And so the movie was supposed to start at 10:30, and it was like 10:25. And we walk, well, it's probably ready now. So we walk into the theater, and the guys are cleaning it, and they go, it's not ready yet. It's probably going to be like another 10 minutes. I'm like, 10 minutes? The movie starts at 10:30. There's trailers and previews and stuff, right? So whatever. He goes, no, we're going to push it back a little bit. He goes, it's going to be delayed about 10 minutes. And so we sat there outside, and I'm like, fine, whatever, no big deal. I didn't think anything of it, right?
Yeah.
But what I did notice is that there were like 6 people cleaning this theater. And by the way, it wasn't a very big theater. So, I walk out, we're waiting. Finally, they all exit, and we go back in, right? As we go back in, it reminded me of, you walk into the theater, and the seats, there's probably like 12 in some. There's 12 seats across in some spots, and some spots are 16.
Mm-hmm.
But each 4 seats is its own little quadrant.
Okay.
Right. And there's ropes. So like when you're on a ride, right? There's ropes that like denote certain areas, so you don't like walk off, right? So we find our seats, and I noticed that they're kind of like a bucket seat.
Yeah.
And it almost it reminds me of a high chair.
Yeah.
Because you get in, and it's got these high arms, right? And I'm looking like, where do you put your popcorn? Like, we're so like, because there's nobody next to you. There's nothing. You're like, it's a gap. So I'm like, this is kind of weird. And then your feet go in this like metal like stirrup.
Yeah.
So your feet are not touching the ground at all whatsoever. Mm-mm. And when you sit in, it's like you're not a capsule, but you're in this like bucket seat, right?
It's almost like a video game chair.
Yeah, like a
Some
video.
degree,
Yeah, that's the best way to describe like a video game chair, right? So I'm like, again, I don't think anything of it. So I'm like,
You're like, wow, that's a nice experience.
whatever, right? So I'm like, who cares? But then I'm like, oh shit, I think I want a water. I'm thirsty. I need something. I've been running around all day and all night. I need something.
Yeah.
I need to go grab something.
Gotta hydrate.
So I go, I'll be right back. And so I leave him there and I walk out. I was gone, I don't know, less than 5 minutes. I come back in the theater and the theater is filled with smoke. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, what did I miss something? Is there something on fire? So like a joke, and I yell at my friend, I'm like, was there a fire while I was gone? And he looks mortified. He doesn't say a word. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's holding the popcorn. There's popcorn all over the floor. His soda is missing about this much soda. Okay, it was a full soda, and there was so much soda had leaked out that it's on the lid.
Yeah.
Right? You know when it like bubbles up over and it's on the lid. And I'm like, what happened? He's like, oh my god. He's like, I don't know what the hell just happened, but apparently a trailer came on for Aquaman, which is going to be coming out. He said the whole theater rocketed and moved, and he goes, then it shot water out at him from the seat in front of him. And I'm like, you're being a little dramatic, right? So I don't think anything of it. I'm like, whatever.
So this is your second time? No click?
No.
Nothing.
Yeah. It doesn't click it out there. So I get in my little like contraption and I've got my little water and I've got my popcorn. And I'm like, yay. And so the movie begins and it starts. So the movie opens up with this like train scene, right? So you hear the seat go, ooh, right? And it gets into position. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like looking around. And then it kind of like, it was a gentle, like, you're like, oh, it feels like I'm on a train. And then on the side, there are these big wind turbine fans, right, that begin to go. And so I'm like, oh, it feels like we're on a train. How cool, right? And then something happens where they hit a bump, and I shit you not, it goes. Oh my God.
And that's when it clicked, huh?
What just happened? He leans over my friend and he goes, I told you. And I was like, I was in shock, but like I started laughing. I got this nervous giggle. I just started laughing and I go, oh my God, what the fuck just happened? So then the next scene is they are, it's a crowd scene. A fight breaks out. So you're rocketing back and forth. Like because you're getting pushed in the crowd, right? So it's like, it's like whiplash for your neck, right? If you're a woman with boobies, they're probably like, they're out of control. One's over here, one's over there, right? It's out of control. And I just saw like we're trying to hold on the popcorn. We're trying to hold on to the sodas. Like we're spending more time like securing our jackets and stuff than trying to watch the movie. And the next thing you know, we're sitting there and one of the guys in the screen goes to go punch the other guy and he hits his back. All of a sudden, from behind me, it goes doof. And I'm like,
you're like, I got punched.
Oh my God, I'm dying. And I honestly thought it was the person behind me kicking my seat. And I turned around and they were sitting in their seats like no big deal. And I was like, did you guys just kick me? And he goes, no, it did to all of us.
Yeah.
And I go, I feel like a fucking piñata right now. Like, what the hell, right? So we're laughing and laughing and laughing. So if you ever get an opportunity to go to this 4D theater, it's
an experience.
It's an experience. So then, there's another scene where they're on the water and they're using an oar, right? So the water splashes, and from the seat in front of you, sure as shit, water squirts
like
on
a
you.
lot or just like a little bit?
No, it's like a good, like, you're like, oh man, oh my God. And then in one of the scenes, it snows. So what happens? It snows in the theater.
Wow.
So it's kind of cool. Oh, and then there's scent. There's scent. So at one point,
your favorite smells.
Yeah. At one point, we're in the sewer system, right?
Yeah.
And you hear, and I'm like, right?
It smells like shit.
It smells like mildew. Like what is that smell? So we're we're laughing because I have never in my life experienced anything like this.
Was that
ever.
his first time too?
It was also
Oh
his
my
first time.
God.
So we were like, we are never fucking doing this again. Ever again. Ever, never, ever. I don't care if it's a free fucking movie. I refuse.
4D is off your
4D is just too much. Because then what happened was the entire movie, I didn't get to enjoy. And we're going to see it again because you're sitting there and your eyes are darting back and forth because you're waiting for a cue. Are you going to get catapulted across the room? Are you going to, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't get to enjoy the movie because it literally was like, oh, I hear it. I hear the gears like, right, getting ready to throw us somewhere. And so it was very like unnerving. It was just too much. I didn't see, of course, remember, in a haste, I was ordering the tickets.
Yeah.
I didn't see any disclaimer. Like, if you have heart issues, neck, back, pregnancy, I mean, there's more warnings at Disneyland than there were for this ride. And Disneyland rides are super fairly tame compared to what, I mean, if you were a small child, you probably would have been thrown out the seat.
Oh, yeah.
It's violent. It's not like it's a like, oh, this is cool. Like, it's not gradual. It is violent. Like, it shakes
It's an immersive
you.
experience.
And you're like, right? It's I could hear myself going, because it was so uncomfortable, and I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. It
Only
was so
you
only
would
me.
go through this, dude. You know that, right?
Only me.
I can't believe only that would happen to you. And it like never clicked, huh?
Louis, it is violent. It is extremely violent. And I know that I embellish and I know that like I tell stories, but let me tell you, maybe our seats just, I tried to keep looking at other people, but because they're high backs, you can't really see.
It's like a pod.
Yeah, and you can't really see people. And so I was like looking, and some people were just like, we will never do this again. I think a lot of the people in that theater were like, we will never do this again. But so many things make sense now. Why it took them so long to clean it up.
Yep.
And just, oh my God, it was crazy. So crazy. So to add to that craziness, now I have to go home and cook. And so for those of you that have never baked, for those of you that have made quiche, you have to pre-bake your pie crust. So that was a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, so it's 1 o'clock now.
No, because remember there's 20 minutes of previews.
Oh shit.
So the movie didn't start till almost 11-ish.
2 o'clock?
It's 2 o'clock in the
Oh
morning.
my God.
So I get home, I'm pre-baking my pie shells, and then I'm like, shit, well, if I take a nap, I'll get up and I can make the bacon. And I said, oh God, then my place is going to smell like cooking 5 pounds of bacon, 4 or 5 pounds.
Smell like grease.
Everything's going to smell like grease. Your entire life will smell like grease for the next fucking 3 weeks. So upstairs on our rooftop patio, we have a really nice barbecue.
Yeah.
So I took tinfoil, and at 2:30 in the morning, there I was cooking bacon on my roof. Being ever so quiet. I didn't even turn the light on because I was afraid to wake up other people, even though it's upstairs. They would have been downstairs because they're just, whatever. But I was cooking bacon for probably about an hour. Cooking bacon and up there, and it was, it was windy, it was kind of cold, it wasn't so bad, whatever, but I was making the bacon, and I'm like, okay, at least that's done, right? So I packaged it all up, and I threw the grease out, and I, went inside, and then I might as well just do the broccoli, so then I blanched the broccoli, and then I'm like, fuck, I gotta shred the cheese. So, you go to Costco, you get those big honking bricks of cheese, so there I was, scraping. So now it's 4:30 in the morning, okay? It's almost 5. And I thought, oh, thank God. So let me sleep. Oh, I got to be in to Susie's at noon. And then I'm like, oh, my, right? I'll sleep for 2 hours. So I slept for 2 hours. And then I got up, and while the quiche, I put 2 at a time, while the quiche were baking in the oven, I was making a batch of Rice Krispies. So I was constantly busy, right? And I'm like, well, on my last batch of quiche, I might as well just do a little laundry.
Yeah.
So my dumbass does a little laundry. So there I am trying to get ahead and do things. And then I was like, fuck, I'm so tired. So then, driving to Lancaster.
Oh, yeah. It's an hour.
Especially during holidays, it was an hour and 20. Oh, my God. Right? So I barely made it like at 2:30-ish. So I was late. Well, we were trying to start at 2. We were going to eat at 3. but it wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
And I felt bad because she wanted me to help her make gravy. But you know who ended up helping her make gravy is Art, cousin Art. And he made a really good fucking gravy. When he told me how it was made, you don't want to eat that every day. But what I will tell you, he made a white gravy. It was so fucking good that, God damn it, I fucking want it. I'm like, I want to make this. I go, Art, if you put sausage in this would be the best biscuits and gravy.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yes, he could make biscuits and gravy with that sauce. I guess his grandma taught him.
Mm-hmm.
We've always made brown gravy, but he likes white gravy, so he made white gravy. He made a shitload of it, and it was good. It was, and apparently, according to him, it didn't even have all of the regular ingredients that it was supposed to have, right? So it still came out. So I can only imagine when he has like full cream and full butter and all that, how much more delicious it's going to taste.
Yeah.
But it just needed crumbled sausage, and I'm telling you, a good biscuit, and that would have been fucking heaven, right? So I told him that. So funny. I'm not a big turkey person. Do you eat turkey?
I do, and that's so funny because my next question was going to be like, what do you do with your leftovers? You know, because that's such a big thing that everybody does, right? You have this big old meal, and then whoever you're eating with, they always want you to take the leftovers because nobody wants to get stuck with all that food. So for me, Thanksgiving, the next day after, is a big day because Grandma, before she passed, would always make me turkey quesadillas, some of my favorite.
Oh, wow.
And I haven't had that for, however long it's been that she's, been passed, and I have to make them myself.
So she would just put turkey and the cheese?
Mm-hmm, and she'd make them, and those were some of my favorite things to eat the day after. I would ask.
I never had a turkey quesadilla.
So it's some of my favorites. So it's interesting to hear you say that you don't like turkey, because I don't like it a lot. But if you put it in a quesadilla, I'm going to chomp on it.
That's so interesting. I never even thought of putting in, you know me, I'm always trying to like figure out what to do with leftovers. Like I will end up making a sandwich. And so if I have turkey, I didn't take any leftovers from Auntie Susie. I didn't take it from anybody.
Oh, wow.
And I probably should have. I just what I'll do is I'll take sourdough bread and I'll put turkey, stuffing, cranberry, and mayonnaise. And it's called, because there was a sandwich shop. Actually, I shouldn't even say that. You know who got me hooked on that was Jared.
Oh, wow.
So back when I was first starting Jared used to make these. Where would we get them, though? We used to buy them from somewhere. There was some sub shop. Oh, I know where we used to do that. We got that from Mimi's.
Oh, wow.
He used to make that sandwich at Mimi's. Now that I remember, because I forget everything. So he would order from the cooks. He would order like a turkey dinner, and then he would just get bread, because bread was always available to us.
Yeah.
And he would toast it, and then he would make his own like cranberry, turkey, gravy. That's right, because Mimi's always had a turkey dinner, no matter what. Even for the holidays, they still had it. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. Ooh, now I want that. You know who makes that sandwich now is the, I want to say Earl of Grey. It's not Earl of Grey.
The Earl of Sandwiches.
Yeah, the Earl of Sandwich.
Yeah.
They make that turkey sandwich with the stuffing, with the mayonnaise, and it's really good. It sounds gross, but it's actually really good. But back to, Thanksgiving. So everybody had contributed. I brought like 8 million Rice Krispies, the quiche, and then I made one for Cindy also too, and I made one for Auntie Kathy.
Yeah.
So I knew that I was going to stay at Auntie Susie's for a little bit, and then I was going to go over to Auntie Kathy's, and then my goal was to leave and then go to Gina's, my other cousin, and stop by. But I never even got that far because I was running so late. I didn't get to my aunt's until almost 2-ish, and then we started eating at 3-ish, 4 or 5. But I went to Auntie Kathy's. I was there for a minute. Art went with me to Auntie Kathy's because he hadn't seen them in a long time. And then I went back to Auntie Susie's, and then I forgot to give my sister a quiche. So then I had to go back to Auntie Kathy's to give my sister her quiche. So it was a lot of back and forth. And before I knew it, it was already 9:30.
Yeah.
And I was exhausted. I only had 2 hours of sleep. So it was one of those like, well, do I call my cousin? I'm sure she would have been up, but I probably would have gotten there and passed the fuck out.
Yeah.
I was exhausted. I ended up driving home. I called my friend on the way home. We talked for a little bit. I was in bed before 10.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, you were tired.
I was tired. I passed the fuck out. And do you know that on Friday, I didn't even do anything. I didn't have to work. I was going to drive for a little bit, and I said, fuck it. I was so tired. I think I slept almost all day. I cleaned, I did laundry and stupid things.
Yeah,
but
just the everyday things that you just want to stay at home.
But I honestly was just like, I'm tired. I'm so tired. But Thanksgiving was nice. It was nice to see, my cousins. I talked to my auntie about, taking over for Thanksgiving, because they're all getting older now. And
Yeah.
it's not like a dig on anybody, but it's time for this generation to step up and start, taking care of business. So I talked to Cousin Paul, and we're hoping that all of the family will be able to get together for Christmas at his place. More details to come. If your family, Bonnie Helen, whoever else listens to the family, after December, there will be no more, I didn't get invited bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody's invited. Everybody will always be invited. And whether you come for 5 minutes or 5 hours, it doesn't make a difference as long as you show up.
Yeah.
So more details to come as we try to, get us all back together the way Obama would want us to be there.
If you take over Thanksgiving, you can't be going to, the market on Thursdays. The day of. I just want you to know.
I'm
You
gonna
can't
have
be
to,
going to no 40 movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I'm probably gonna have to move into Auntie Susie's for 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah, because that's crazy. I did a lot, and then I think back and I'm like, do other people do what I do? I don't think that I'm an older person, but I am an older person, and you meet people and they think that I'm 30, and that's why I'm growing out my beard, because my beard will make me look a little bit older.
Do you want to look older?
No, not really. But I don't know. I just every once in a while I'm just I'm so tired of it. And then also too, I'm growing it out because that barber didn't do such a great job with my hair, so I'm letting it grow out so I can go back to Ramos and beg for mercy as he fixes my hair.
Yeah.
Because I have this weird one piece back here.
Yeah.
It's
It's a mess.
it's a mess. I've never used so much gel in my life. There's so much gel now in my hair, and I never had to put that much with Ramos's haircuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my Thanksgiving. I mean, there was no drama. There was no insanity, which was nice.
Well, there was insanity. It was
yeah.
before Thanksgiving.
That's true. It was insanity.
There was some damn sanity
I
there.
was tired. I was so tired. I'm so crazy.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I just say yes, 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 yes. Did you have anything equally as insane as that?
Not at all. My thing. I mean, the only kind of insanity I almost had was my mom was like, "Hey, can you go to the store and get some ice?" I go, "Mom, you asked me for one thing: cook the mac and cheese. I'm doing that." I'm like, "You want me to do that?" I wasn't ready. I had, mac and cheese with the grating, you have to do. You buy these big old blocks. That takes time. You got to get the butter right. Got to get it all good, and then you got to make sure it doesn't dry out. I go, sure, I could go, but by the time I go to the store, get everything done, and go to the house, I'm going to be late. Yeah. If she would have told me the day before, absolutely, I would have grabbed it earlier. But yeah, that's probably the only little bit of drama. Other than that, it was a nice time hanging out with all my family. So.
Oh, that's good. Oh, so you made macaroni and cheese?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, nice.
And I was gonna make some cheesecake, but I just didn't have the time. I didn't wake up in time, so I was like, I'll do it for Christmas. So that's what I'm gonna bring for Christmas. Is cheesecake.
Nice. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I love cheesecake. I love cheesecake. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now begins the process because Christmas is literally right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
We have, when this show airs, we'll have 20 days.
Something like that, yeah.
Or 25 days.
And the
24
holidays are
days.
going by fast. I mean, we were just for Halloween. Now it's Thanksgiving. It's over. And here
Time
we
to
go
plan
with
for
Christmas.
Valentine's Day.
Yep. So remember, no 4D movies the day before Christmas.
Yeah.
please.
Oh, and then, on top of that, though, so some of my, gentlemen callers who have been away, in college. I feel so weird saying that. It feels weird saying that who on the East Coast or up on the West Coast, up on, Portland, Seattle. I was getting all these text messages. Are you available? Are you available? And I'm like, oh my God. It's Thanksgiving. Leave me alone. I showed my friend John the messages. One was just like, did I do something wrong? Why aren't you asking me? What's going on? I'm like, oh my God. I'm in the middle of making bacon and quiche.
Yeah.
Relax yourself. Well, I'm only here till tomorrow. I'm like, well, that's your
That's
problem.
your fault. Yeah.
You should have told me you were coming. Relax yourself. Wow, yeah, that was interesting. He was laughing at me. He's like, wow, you're so popular. I'm like, yeah, apparently during the holidays.
I was just going to say that, yeah, you're very popular.
Very popular during the holidays. I'm gonna
Hey, man, the holidays are stressful. You got to be a stress reliever.
yeah, I'm going to tell them, meet me at the 4D Theater.
Oh, my God.
That'll fix them. It's so crazy.
That's funny.
So yes, and speaking of crazy, you probably all have been wondering why I have not been talking about all of my tumultuous and fun times at the talk. It's just been busy. There's been so many things that have been going on, and I want to get David back here because I feel like some of the things that I say, you may be like, that didn't happen. And then some of the things I don't even remember, I just block out so much, because it was so painful. But David will be back. Maybe we'll get him for next week.
Okay.
David will be back. Another friend of mine wants to come on, Kirby. Kirby, if you're listening, she wants to podcast. And so, and we need to get our holiday show together. So we have a lot of stuff to do.
We have a lot.
We really need to go
Because we only have 20 days left after today.
And I have to plan a family gathering. Yeah.
It's a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare, but it's going to be fun.
I had gentlemen callers coming back into town in December and for New Year's. So
that's for the OnlyFans part. We'll put that aside.
Listen, I hope that you guys have fun listening to all this. Please remember that we are on Instagram at Do It Like Danny Show.
And one day we'll be in 4D.
Yeah.
So we'll get there.
Oh my God. And we are on TikTok, Do It Like Danny Show. Please follow, have fun, talk shit. We don't care. Just find us. With all that being said, I hope you had an amazing holiday, and I hope you have an amazing holiday coming up. I'm sure it's going to be crazy, just like mine. And remember to always do it like Danny.